Hello, this is a commentated run for all true expert chimps. Sorry, let me switch the layout. So, kind of as kind of a preface, so this is Bloons Tower Defense 6. It's a very popular tower defense game. It's still being actively maintained by Ninja Kiwi. It's pretty awesome. In this map, there's 82 maps at this point, and you can see they're segmented beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert. Then there are 4 expert maps in particular that are harder than the rest. When you play them, you kind of realize that, them being Ravine, Bloody Puddles, Quad, and Out. So what this category does is it plays all 4 of them, and specifically it plays the Chimps mode. So Chimps is where you basically have 1 life. You start on round 6, have to get to round 100, and you cannot sell, use insta monkeys, no double cash, no hours continues or anything. So it's generally considered to be the hardest game mode for a particular map, and we're gonna do the 4 hardest maps on that game mode. So timing is gonna start once I click this Chimps thing here. So 3, 2, 1, go. So this map is Quad. I'm going kind of in reverse difficulty. I think what I think is reverse map difficulty. It's not reverse like difficulty of the strats. But I'll kind of get into that a bit. So kind of the way this game works is there's balloons. The balloons gradually get stronger and stronger every round, which can be, and you have to place down towers to sort of deal with them. Whoops. And here we're placing these towers. These towers you can upgrade with sort of these. This is considered a tier 1 upgrade. You can go up to tier 5, and you can also you can cross path it with 2 tiers. What we're doing here is we're placing some starting towers, and then what we're going to try to do is get down a hero. So heroes are very nice because here you saw that with the tiers, you have to kind of pay money, which you get during the level. You have to pay money to update them. But with our hero, the hero upgrades itself. So here is at level 1, he'll upgrade to level 2 in a bit, just throughout the level. So heroes are actually very, very valuable for their price. So getting your hero down kind of as early as possible is pretty important. This hero in particular is Etienne. Etienne has a couple of very nice properties. One is he gives all towers camo detection. There's going to be balloons that normal towers can't hit without camo detection, and you have to get camo detection in some weird ways sometimes. But Etienne sort of makes you never have to worry about that, which is kind of nice. That's not really the main reason why we get him here. The main reason why we get him in this map in particular is because everything in his range also will get a range buff. So this submarine here has larger range because of Etienne, and that's pretty nice. In particular, it's going to be very nice for 1 tower that we'll see later. These heroes also have these abilities. So Etienne, his gimmick is that he has all of these. Whoops, sorry. He has all these drones that he can control. And you saw me. You can retry last round. That's not considered a continue for whatever reason. That was unfortunate. But yeah. So The abilities are very nice, and basically he has this drone, and the ability basically makes multiple drones come on screen for a small amount of time, which is very helpful. And so in the meantime, we're basically trying to upgrade our towers to basically have a solidified early game to basically handle up to round 40. Round 40 is kind of the big difficulty spike in the early game. We'll see why when we get there. But right now what we're going to try to do is we have this submarine. We're going to try to get it to a tier 4 armor piercing darts. We have this guy. We're going to try to get this to a tier 4 Morglaves, which is pretty fun. But at first, we don't have camo detection for all our towers yet, so we do need camo detection on this sniper in particular. And then the way this sub works is the sub is an advanced intel sub, so it's able to hit whatever is in range, but it's only able to hit camo if the towers the towers that are in range of the camo balloon can actually see camo, and then that lets this sub hit all the camos. So that's actually quite it's quite nice. Sorry, we need to get this. So what this is a Morglaves. Has these projectiles that bounce at what? Has these projectiles that bounce everywhere. It's very helpful. It kind of automatically bounces between all of the balloons. And so this is actually pretty sufficient for everything. We're just going to get armor-piercing darts. And armor-piercing darts, so on round 40, we're going to get something called the Moab. So it's a big blimp. It's fairly strong, especially when you only have early game towers, but this combination of armor-piercing darts, the Morglaves, and we also have Etienne's drone swarm ability, that's going to be sufficient in handling round 40. And then between round 40 and round 50 is usually a little bit easier. So what we can do then is kind of build into our actual middle game then. So that's kind of the general strategy that we are going to kind of see in this run. You're going to see basically we have the early game where we try to get down our hero. We then try to survive, and then we try to get our round 40 prepared for. Then once you get round 40 done with, then we prepare for our middle game. So what our middle game is going to be is we are going to put this. This is just a little bit of. We're going to use this Spike Factory actually at some point, but right now it's kind of just getting a little bit of RNG prevention here. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to place a tower on the water. Usually you can only place water towers on the water, but we're going to do a neat little trick. So we're going to first get a primary mentoring on this village, and then we're going to get down an ice monkey. So an ice monkeys now can be placed on water, but we don't actually want to place this on water. We're going to place it on land. And what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade it to an Arctic wind. And what that does is that creates a frozen wind that freezes water and lets you put towers on top of it. So what we're going to then put on this is a glue gunner. And so our main mid-game carry that we're going to try to build into is going to be a balloon solver. It's a very fun tower, actually, when you're playing it with it. If you're ever playing this game casually, I'd actually recommend the balloon solver. It's a very fun tower. So what this glue gunner does is the glue gunner is generally a support tower. Its purpose is to slow down balloons. But then if you go with this top path, the top path actually it does damage to balloons. So it's pretty nice in that regard. And now we're at like the 50s and we're like pretty much safe for the time being. We're just gonna get a couple more things. So we're gonna get this. So this is an alchemist. The alchemist is incredibly important when you're playing this game. If you go with the top path, it gives you this thing called a berserker brew, which basically it drops a potion onto a tower nearby, and the potion it drops makes it a lot more powerful, especially like this glue gunner. It increases the damage, increases the pierce, increases the attack speed. So it's a relatively cheap way to improve your towers substantially if you have the correct towers. So the Spike Factory we'll look at it a little. We'll talk about it a little bit later. We just got this Moab Shredder, which basically does extra damage to Moabs, which is actually really nice. In the meantime, now we're kind of just. The next like hard round here is round 60. One is round 60. There's going to be a bigger blimp called a BFB, and it's red. but we can handle it with our ability. We'll see that. And then the round after that, that's generally pretty difficult, is round 63. The reason why round 63 is difficult is because, this is the BFB, but the reason why round 63 is difficult is it's different from the previous rounds. The previous rounds have like a few balloons and then a lot of blimps, but round 63 just has huge rushes of ceramics, which are hard, which the towers you use to deal with these blimps are not the same towers you use to deal with ceramic rushes usually. So it can be hard to deal with if you're not adequately prepared, but with this balloon liquefier, we're actually very well prepared for it. And so now what we're doing is we're just trying to save up for Balloon Solver, which is 24,000, so when we get that, we'll do that, but in the meantime we can probably read donations if this were a GDQ run, but this is like, whoops. Yeah, we're supposed to use this. Yeah, Tien has this UCAV ability, which creates this drone that just shoots everything, so that's nice. But yeah, donations. Okay. Yeah, so we're just going to manage with what we have and our abilities right now. So what we're going to get next is a Balloon Solver. And I guess what we'll talk about is the tower we'll get after the Balloon Solver, which is we're going to upgrade this Spike Factory. So what the general so when we talk about balloons, oftentimes we talk about synergies. So what happens is when you have a blimp, or like one of the big blimps, it breaks open into ceramics. So this Balloon Solver is extremely good at popping ceramics, but it's okay at popping like the smaller blimps, but the bigger blimps it has a very hard time popping. So what we're gonna try to do is pair it with a tower that pops big blimps really easily. And so what we're gonna get for that is something called a Carpet of Spikes. So first we have this Moab Shredder, which it's basically these spikes that do extra damage to Moabs. We're gonna upgrade it to a Spike Storm, which basically what this does is this gives you an ability to cover the entire track with spikes. So we'll see that in a little bit. And then after that we'll get Carpet of Spikes, which basically will every, I think like some number of seconds, it'll actually activate the ability passively, as opposed to having to activate it actively with a pretty long cooldown. So we can see here what the ability kind of looks like. And you can see also that BFB, that red blimp, it got popped super quickly by that, and then the insides were cleaned up really quickly by the Balloon Solver. So that's the synergy we're kind of going for here. This round 75 is usually the next hard round because there's actually quite a lot of blimps, so you need to be prepared for that, but you do that, the blimps get absolutely destroyed, so it's pretty nice. And so that ability, we activated it manually, but when we upgrade this to Carpet of Spikes, it's gonna activate that ability passively, as well as we can also activate it actively, so it's a very good synergy. So this thing's basically what this is going to do is break open every Moab, and this thing's going to clean it all up. Round 78 is usually also a pretty difficult round because of ceramic rushes again, but Balloon Solver is perfect against ceramic rushes. So we can probably read a donation. This could take I think the next notable thing is in like a minute, or it's like a minute and a half. But yeah, so the next notable thing is going to be round 80. Round 80 has something called a ZOMG, which is a big green blimp. It's very powerful. It's actually pretty difficult to pop those guys quickly. Yeah. So, you might be wondering, like, this game, especially with, like, tower defense games, you would think a lot of them are, like, auto-scrollers, but, and it kind of is, like, a particular round, like a particular round has, like, a fixed length until the last balloon comes, and then what you want to do is pop that last balloon as quickly as possible. So the optimizations that you make are basically in service of popping the last balloon as soon as possible. And you also have to pop all the balloons before then. So if I think Plants vs Zombies has been in GDQ before, it has something called the 50% rule, where when you damage like half of the wave, it advances the next wave. Here it's like 100% rule, so you have to pop the entire wave to advance the next wave, or pop the entire round to advance the next round. So I think that's kind of how to think about it. Okay, so next up we're gonna get Spike Storm, and you'll kind of see that this ability, every time we use an ability, you see like this red thing. It's like a cooldown timer, and the Spike Storm cooldown timer is pretty long. So we're gonna Spike Storm this, and then what we're gonna do is when we upgrade it to Carpet of Spikes, it's gonna activate the passive ability, which is nice. And now it's gonna periodically activate the ability passively, which is very nice. This map has these barriers that we can remove for a pretty expensive price, and that's very important for going fast because you want to kind of pop balloons as soon as they spawn in, and the fact that these barriers are here actually like makes this map inherently slower in some ways. So that's cool. We're gonna get a Mermonkey. So the top path Mermonkey, what this does is this increases the Pierce. So there's two concepts. There's damage and Pierce. Damage is how many layers of a balloon can get popped, and Pierce is how many balloons a particular attack can pop. And so this thing increases the Pierce of the Spike Factory, which Spike Factory is weird. The Pierce is what increases the damage of it. I probably shouldn't try to like explain it, but yeah, basically the Mermonkey with the Spike Factory is very good. So now we're gonna get kind of a very unusual tower. Well, actually, this tower is not unusual. The unusual tower will be in a bit, but what we're gonna get is, so Unstable Concoction is a very standard tower actually that you would want to get. But then what we're gonna get, but the reason why we're getting it is we're gonna try to upgrade it to Transforming Tonic, which is a very unusual tower to get. Normally people don't get that. Oh, and we got this Ninja, this Balloon Sabotage. It's probably the best ability in the game. It slows everything down for 15 seconds. So we got this, then we're gonna get an Ice Monkey for a bit of safety. Alright, and so here we gotta activate some abilities. Yeah, so these guys basically turn into big monsters when you use the ability. It's actually very good. And then the round 100 has this big purple guy. It's called a BAD. It's usually pretty hard to deal with. But our setup handles it just fine. Whoops. Okay, next up we'll do the next map. So the next map we'll do is Ouch. This is not the hardest map, but it is actually the hardest strategy. So this strategy is very difficult to execute, in my opinion. So I'm doing it here. So here, so Ouch, you can tell it's kind of a very annoying map. but like the balloons kind of move quickly. There's this big water spot. You can remove it, but because we're actually going to do a water-based strategy for this, so we actually won't be able to remove the water. With water-based strategies, we're going to use Admiral Brickle, who is very good on water. One is she can be placed on water. The other is that she has these abilities that she has one ability that really buffs your water towers really well. It buffs their attack speed and like their damage type by a lot. It's actually really powerful. We'll see it. And then she has another ability called the Mega Mine, which is apparently one of the best abilities in the game, at least at a high level, at like the highest level, because I mean, we'll see it. It's this big thing that just blows everything up, blows up all of the blimps. So, but we're gonna try to get her down now. This is kind of the earliest that we're able to get her with this kind of early game. All right, and so then for just to kind of save up, so what we're gonna then do is we're gonna get down 2 water towers, the carrier flagship and the Pirate Lord. Pirate Lord in particular is very important in this strategy to go fast. We'll see it in a bit, but for now we're just kind of upgrading these subs, and then we'll see an example of the naval tactics ability. You can see it's not going to look like that much right now, but trust me, it does quite a bit. There we go. You'll see it do a lot more later. Yeah, so we're gonna just get a sub for a little bit of an early game. Advanced intel. We need to also, and we need to pop camos, so we'll upgrade the sniper for that, and then we'll start getting down one of our 2 boats. They're called Monkey Buccaneers, but I'm just call them boats because they are boats and it's easier to say. Grape shot's pretty good, but not the biggest thing. And then here we're going to give camo detection on this dart monkey in order to, because round 63 is going to have some, oh, whoops. That was actually a mistake, but we're supposed to get camo on this guy, or we're supposed to be able to pop lead. So those are lead balloons. You're supposed to use a sniper or we need to use the sniper to pop those down. That was a mistake on my part, kind of a hilarious one. You can also we could have also popped leads with Brickle's naval tactics if I had, like, not brain farted, but... Oh, whoops, why am I don't want to do that. Yeah, so I think, so what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to upgrade this boat. We're also then going to get another boat, but probably right now it's well, I guess so that what we're going to get first is a destroyer. The destroyer is fairly cheap and pretty good it does pretty good damage for how much it costs. So we'll see it there. And so the thing about the destroyer, so it shoots like pretty quickly, and then with this middle cross path, it shoots like a lot of projectiles in 2 directions. So that's actually really, really powerful. And then what we're going to get is we're going to get another one, which is cannon ship. This is going to turn into our Pirate Lord later on, which is extremely important. Round 40, as we know, there's a big blimp. What we're going to do is use naval tactics on it, because I don't think our towers will actually successfully get us through round 40. But with naval tactics, it'll totally melt this thing like that, so that's cool. So the normal way of getting camo detection is with a camo village. So if you don't have Etienne, we're gonna just get a camo village for that. And so now we're basically just trying to save up for this next thing, which is the aircraft carrier. But while we do that, this is probably a good donation time. Anyway, so what the aircraft carrier is so this destroyer, it shoots in all directions. The aircraft carrier keeps that aspect of it, but it also creates some planes that fly across the map. So this tower is actually really nice because it has global range. It can hit anything on any part of the map with its planes, and that can really help with speeding things up. So that's pretty nice. So we'll see there, and you can see these planes sort of strafe around and also shoot the balloons and do big damage. So the next tower we're gonna get is the Monkey Pirates, and we're gonna see it does decent damage, decent pierce, but the main reason we're gonna get it is it has this nice ability. Oh, whoops, that was not good. Okay. So it has this basically has this grappling hook, or the harpoon. So what we're gonna use that for is what the harpoon does is it basically lets you pull in blimps. With the Monkey Pirates, it lets us pull in Moabs and BFBs. And that lets us kind of accelerate some of these blimp rounds, especially at the end. It lets us basically insta-kill them. So this tower is like a really good speedrun tower because you can kind of accelerate a round that has a blimp at the end by just harpooning it. Then when we get to Pirate Lord, it's gonna be able to hook in ZOMGs, which is actually insane. Not a lot of things can kill ZOMGs quickly, so the fact that it does that is pretty awesome. Alright, then we're gonna get a Mermonkey here. So like we had before, we got this top path Mermonkey that increases the pierce of everything. Increasing the pierce of these towers is actually really important because these towers do not do a good job at ceramic cleanup in the late game, but with this Mermonkey, it actually does quite a lot better with it, so it makes the strategy a lot easier, or a lot more viable in speedrun. There was like an old version of the strategy that got nerfed because Ninja Kiwi makes balance changes to this game all the time. But yeah, now we're approaching round 60, which is the BFB. It's normally kind of hard, but with this Monkey Pirates, we just hook it in, and it's really easy. Oh, and so now we also unlocked this Mega Mine. So this is Sprickle's best ability. Basically what you do is you place it down, and it'll basically blow up Moab. It does a lot of damage to Moabs. It's pretty cool. Round 63 should be okay with this Mermonkey and like the Alchemist here, but sometimes it doesn't work. Alchemist like sometimes doesn't throw things properly into the right towers. It was fine here. And we're gonna use a Mega Mine to quickly pop down some of the fortified Moabs. Moabs there's stronger versions of the same mob that have twice the HP. So those are called fortified Moabs. Those can often take a lot of time to pop down. But yeah, I think now what we're trying to do is we're trying to save up for the next upgrade, which is going to be in quite a bit. So it's just the carrier flagship. So this would be another good donation time. Okay, and yeah, now we're basically just trying to use our abilities to accelerate the rounds a little bit. It's not really super important now, like a lot of these abilities casually are kind of optional, but because we're doing a speed run, it's a bit prudent to do this. Oops. Alright, so now we got the carrier flagship. It's similar to the aircraft carrier, except a lot better. It does a few other things that we're not really going to use this run. Like, you can put towers on top of it, which can be nice. It also buffs monkey aces, which we are not using in this map. But you can see, like, it has, like, this boat icon above it. But it also buffs water towers. I forget exactly how, but it does buff them. Around 78. One solution to like make it very easy if you have Brickle and like water towers is to use naval tactics on each ceramic rush. It's just a little trick you can use. Yeah, but now what we're basically doing is we're gonna use our abilities and save up for Pirate Lord. Oops, in a bit. Alright, and then round 80 has the ZOMG, so what we'll do is, actually what we'll first do is use the, we're gonna use the grappling hook on the last fortified BFB, because it's, this, actually I don't think this Megamind gets used. I think when we naval tactics it just pops everything, so that's funny. Alright, so now we have the Pirate Lord. Pirate Lord's very good. So we're gonna see if there are only like a few... It can pull in like multiple smaller blimps, and then it can also pull in ZOMGs. So we'll see it pull in ZOMGs. It can pull in 2 ZOMGs, which is really good. Especially because there's a round coming up that has exactly 2 ZOMGs. So one thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna pair the Pirate Lord and Carrier Flagship. So there's an upgrade that you could get on your village called a Monkey Intelligence Bureau, which lets your thing pop all balloons, including like lead balloons, and explosive balloons. But what we're gonna get is we're gonna get something called Glue Storm, which is a bit of a more advanced strategy. Aw, oops. So what this so we got Glue Strike, and what this does is basically it debuffs all of the blimps. And it de-leads them. So we're gonna have these towers coming up, which we saw before, but I didn't really explain them, called DDTs. The Carpet of Spikes really just eliminated all DDTs, but they're very fast. They have lead and black properties, so lead prevents them from being popped by balloons that can't see lead, that can't pop lead, and then the black prevents explosions from damaging them. So pretty hard to deal with sometimes, but you can deal with them with naval tactics, and then Glue Storm will also kind of de-lead them. So Glue Storm is generally a better way of dealing with the DDTs. Alright, so get this. And then the Glue Storm will last this entire round, so that's nice. In round 96, things get very difficult. Whoops. Yeah, case in point. Round 97 has fortified DDTs, but we can just harpoon them. Or whoops. This isn't good. Oh, actually it's okay. Aww. So, with round 100 here, what we're going to use is a first strike submarine. If you hit it at like kind of the right damage phase, then you can actually layer skip it, which is what I'm trying to do, but I'm not doing it properly. Okay, there we go. All right, that's that. Let's do Bloody Puddles next. So Bloody Puddles used to be a very difficult map, and still is, but it got much easier because they introduced this new monkey called the Desperado, which makes this a lot easier. Before you had to do this like incredibly precise dart sub thing, it was awful. So this map is actually going to be kind of cool. We're going to be doing. Oh, whoops! Oh, crap! I forgot. We're going to be doing something called the Axis of Havoc. What the Axis of Havoc is an achievement in Bloons Tower Defense 6 where we get all tier 5 snipers. And it's actually not just an achievement, it's like a very legitimate synergy. Wait, what's going on? Is that dart placement really that bad? That's weird, okay. Alright, let's place this dart a little more precisely this time. Ah, yeah, the dart was not placed precisely enough. Alright, so we're gonna start getting some snipers. The snipers, as I mentioned, are gonna be the cornerstone of this trap, but specifically we have these snipers that we're also gonna, like, not care about. So, like, the sniper up here is mainly to get through the early game. The early game is not, like, free, as you can see. Like, some of the placements are still a little bit precise, but it's substantially better than it used to be. Like, I think anyone who's ever played the original map with the dart sub start is bad. One thing, though, is that the sniper timings can be kind of sniper timings depend on like when you place them down during a round, so there's that like aspect of inconsistency. If you're placing things down like without auto start on, it's a lot, things are a lot more consistent, but because we're placing things down with auto start on, it's less consistent. Part of the game though. That's just how things go. And then we're gonna get a sub here, like with all the other maps. The sub is a very strong early game, especially for these kinds of speed runs, I think. Sorry, we need to get this guy here. And this. All right. Yeah, so this is probably so we're gonna get a sub, and then we're gonna get down our hero, which is Gwendolyn. So Gwendolyn is a support hero. So what she does is she shoots fire. She's like a pyromaniac. She's obsessed with fire, like really obsessed with fire. Like she loves fire. Like I don't know if I can describe how much she loves fire. And then what she does is, if for towers that are in her range, she also like buffs them, like their damage increases. So when you have snipers, it's actually very strong when with having Gwen with snipers in her range. So that's kind of cool. We're gonna do a little bit of an odd early game because so this map you can kind of tell that it's kind of hard. Because you have these 5 lanes, the balloons alternate between these lanes. We're kind of like barely managing, and what we're doing is we have this sub, which kind of has global range. Well, it does have global range, but we still need a little bit more on this side, so we're gonna get this arcane mastery wizard. Only here for the early game. That's the only reason he exists. Whoa! Oh wait, right. Gotta use Gwen's ability. So Gwen has 2 abilities. One is this cocktail, which is just a big flame that just is there. That just is there in the middle of the thing, so, in the middle of the track, which does quite a bit of pierce. So it damages like all the balloons that go through it. We're putting these glues for a little bit of consistency on round 40 specifically. It's basically because we're going to try to pop open the outer layer, but the ceramics can quickly get by. So what we're going to do is try to not have them get by with these glues. Oh, well, I kind of got greedy there, but there we go. So that was because I got this alchemist out upgraded too early, but that's okay. Okay, so now what we're going to start is building into our Axis of Havoc strategy. So there are 3 snipers. So one is the elite sniper, which you generally want to build into first. What it does is, so there's this thing called bouncing bullet, which basically, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it has pretty good pierce, and it like automatically bounces the bullet into other balloons, which is pretty nice. So we're going to build into that first. And then what we're going to do is, and so to build into that, we need to get an alchemist, because alchemists make the sniper substantially better. And in general with the snipers, actually, like the alchemists make them better. This build is kind of low, but whatever. It'll be fun. Everything will be fun. Don't worry. But yeah, so we'll get bouncing bullet. And then next up is supply drops. So supply drops kind of kind of lame. It does improve things, but it's very expensive for what it does. The reason why it's so expensive is because there's this ability. This ability drops a crate full of money, but because this is Chimps, we don't get extra money, so it actually drops a crate full of $0. So obviously it's the best ability in this run, so we're gonna use it all the time. Let's see here. The cooldown's also really slow. So there we go. Rate of $0. Heck yeah. Yeah, so... Oh, right, I'm supposed to upgrade this guy. Whoops. Forgot. Okay, that's why things are a little sketchy. But yeah, so this guy we're going to upgrade it to is not going to upgrade it to full auto yet, but we're going to eventually upgrade it to Elite Defender. We'll see what it looks like later. Elite Defender is everybody's favorite tower. Nobody likes the Elite Sniper, even though in my opinion it's, at least in sniper strategies, it's the most important one. I really don't like the Elite Defender. It's not I don't think it's a great tower. But it is very popular. I'm an Elite Sniper fan. And so Gwen, so basically Gwen has this ability now to the Heat It Up ability, which basically all towers in range will have their damage get increased every time for a small amount of time, every time Gwen fires 40 shots. But then you can also use this Firestorm ability to give Heated Up to every tower in range. And then as Gwen levels up higher and higher, eventually like the Heated Up buff lasts longer. So if she's constantly firing, then she actually can buff everything in her range permanently, essentially. So it's actually it can get very strong. So so we'll see. But now, right now, what we're doing is we're gonna try to save for. So we got the Elite Sniper. The Elite Sniper also, the reason why you want to get it first is it buffed the attack speed of all other snipers in the map. Next up, we're gonna get Elite Defender, and it's gonna take about like 8 rounds or so to get it, so this is another good donation reading time. You might notice there's also this truck here that's causing some line of sight blockage, so we'll remove it at some point in about like 20 rounds, but not 20, like 15 rounds or so. Alright, so we got our Elite Defender. Some call it the Elite Great Defender. I always thought it was funny, a funny name that people gave, a funny nickname. But so now we're gonna get another village. So one thing I haven't really explained is you can get discounts. You can use these villages to get discounts on some of your towers, which is you can end up saving a lot of money if you do it properly. So one common thing is we get these and then one common thing is to get double discounts, because you can then only get, so we have Jungle Drums, which increases the attack speed, and then there's this middle one, which gives you camo detection. So getting two discount villages is actually very common, specifically if you want to do that. So next up, we're going to get a few more snipers. So When you're doing Axis of Havoc, so the next sniper we're going to get is the Cripple Moab, or the Maim Moab. So there's a... So the tower is called... The ultimate tower is called the Cripple Moab Sniper. But here, we're going to upgrade it to... So it's Deadly Precision with Shrapnel Shot. Then we're going to upgrade it to Maim Moab. And what Maim Moab does is it increases the damage to Moabs, and then it also stuns them, so that's pretty cool. And Crippled Moab kind of just ramps that up, and it also debuffs things. It creates like an explosion that debuffs and damages balloons like around as well. Very good against round 100, as we'll kind of see. Okay, I want to get this. Now, the main thing with Axis of Havoc strats is that it doesn't do very good cleanup. By cleanup, you have to be able to pop both the Moab and you need to pop the ceramic. So popping Moabs, we usually call that single target damage. So you have to have both single target damage and like good pierce. So to get a bit more ceramic cleanup, what we like, one very common way of doing that is by spamming some more bouncing bullet snipers. So here, if we spam 2 of them, that'll end up popping with an alk buff. That'll end up popping down a lot of the ceramics pretty well. And then we need to get some extra support, so what we're going to get is a Moab glue. So you've seen glue gunners before, but the way we saw glue gunners was the glue storm, and we saw the balloon solver. But now we're going to get kind of the best glue path, which is this relentless glue. So relentless glue allows Moabs to actually get slowed, which they don't get slowed normally. And then the relentless glue, what that does is when a Moab pops, all of the insides get stunned for a small amount of time. So that's actually huge. It's so good. And then the other tower we're gonna get are these things called Moab presses. So we've seen one boomerang before, but it wasn't really that big of a thing. And then the final thing we're going to do is remove this truck. So here you have this helicopter. Oh, the helicopter crashed and created another line of sight blocker. So we need to spend another $500 to remove both of them. That's just very funny. Alright, so now we're going to save up for Cripple Moab, which we will see in a bit. And so basically the way that this strategy now is kind of set up is we have all of our stalling on this side. And what we're basically trying to do is stall out this side without damaging it too much, so that our snipers can pop down the other half of the map. And it turns it semi into a single lane map. It's actually pretty interesting how that works, I think. The only scary thing is round 93, so Gwen isn't actually firing at round 93, which is on these outer lanes, and it's a little bit of a scary round, so we're going to use our Firestorm for that. But otherwise this is like an excellent strategy. It's like really is the easiest way of beating this map, and it's also decently fast. Like, we haven't come up with anything faster, so I'm sure there's a lot faster that you can do, but balancing like speed and ease is actually hard to do. Alright, yeah, and this is probably another good donation time. It's like pretty much smooth sailing where you get Cripple Moab, and then you actually don't need to spend any money after you get Cripple Moab. But we will, because we want to try to save a little bit of time on round 100. But, yeah. Right. Okay, and then we're gonna try to layer skip this just to save a little bit of time. There we go. Okay, and then, oh, sorry, the last map is Ravine, which we're going to use, where are you, Geraldo? So fun fact, this map, when it was released, was actually impossible. And now it's actually just really, really difficult. So you have to get these really precise dart monkey placements, and it's horrible and awful and the worst. But it is possible because they added the sword. Alright, I'm gonna just... So the idea is if you click this sword 20 times, it'll pop the one balloon that ends up leaking with these dart monkey placements. So there's like that one green needing to pop with the sword. After that, the beginning is still hard, at least hard to do quickly, because this next dart on round 9 that we have to place is actually very difficult to do. There we go. And I don't know if I placed this correctly until round 11, so that's cool. So let's cross our fingers for round 11. There we go. That should be good. So the hero we're using here is Geraldo. So Geraldo is very different from other heroes. So other heroes have these abilities that kind of let you get through some of these tough rounds. Geraldo does not have that. What Geraldo has is a shop of items that you can buy. And these items are kind of like alternatives to towers that you would spend more money on. So that kind of compensates for his lack of like actual attacking and ability power. So you have these spike piles, which are like $55, which kind of help with a lot with RNG prevention. And then we also have these turrets, which are basically just better dart monkeys, which is pretty cool. All right, we have this druid. Sniper, and so then what we're gonna, so now so the strategy we're gonna do, we're not actually anywhere close to doing it. So one really absolutely broken item that Geraldo has is this glue. So anytime you have Geraldo and you're dying to a round, just chuck a glue there. It's not super expensive. It's just an extremely good way of adding consistency to things. It's so broken, but it's a little less broken than it used to be. It used to be much cheaper. So alright, and then this Druid of the Jungle is actually a very popular tower as well. It's a very fun tower. It like creates these vines that go everywhere. It's pretty good, I think. It gets hated on by like expert Chimps players because they all think it's too expensive and the tier 5 is bad, but I think Druid of the Jungle is very good for these, for black borders and like speedrunning. It's excellent, actually. Alright, so a very common setup in Ravine is to get these spike factories down. Oh, and we're gonna also chuck a glue here. It's very important, and sometimes we'll even die with this glue here, but hopefully that is not this time. It is not this time. Then we get down a second spike factory. And so there's this targeting called smart targeting, and basically it's pretty nice. It puts the spikes like as far back as possible in like the correct lane, so it's actually very nice to have that here. So round 40, we all know round 40 is kind of a power spike, but Geraldo will save us, because right now our defenses do not handle round 40 very well. And in general, like the round 40, 60, 80, and 100 are pretty hard, but in this map, but this blade trap really, really saves us with that. So, all right, so we're gonna now build into our mid game. So we just start. This is the first time we see the monkey ace. Oh, whoops. We glue. There we go. No. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Yeah. So we're basically our mid game is going to be this thing. This is called a never miss targeting. This is the early mid game. So the monkey ace is kind of a weird tower in that it shoots like these darts to the side, which it makes it like doesn't hit anything unless you can do micro on it. You can change like the direction and the flight path of it. Ooh, whoops. I need to camo potion on that. Sorry. Oh, Geraldo lets one tower detect camo for 5 rounds with a camo potion, 10 rounds later on. So that's really important here. Our spike factory will usually die if we don't have this, so. Alright, and then, yeah, so then the thing is like this never miss, it basically makes the targets not miss, so it's actually very helpful. It's a nice upgrade. So then the next tower we're getting is this bottom monkey ace, this second monkey ace. We're just doing the top path. This is gonna actually be very, oh, so Geraldo has these pet bunnies that you can buy for $1,890. It doesn't do anything, but we're gonna buy it anyway because we know we like spending money on useless pets. Alch buffing your spike factories is actually, and monkey aces is very, very good, so you should do it. We like these bunnies so much, we'll buy a second one. Oh, whoops. Ah! Heck, we'll buy a third one. As well. That's just how much we like it. And then we'll even buy a fourth one, and with the fourth one it actually turns this bunny into a monster. So I think apparently this is a reference to what, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where there's this in that movie, there's this bunny that bites people's heads off, and so it does. This bunny is biting balloons' heads off. So basically, this bunny. Then we got this thing, Operation Dartstorm. Operation Dartstorm does decent amount of Moab damage. Bunny is very good at cleaning up ceramics and doing some Moab damage. So like you can see, the bunny does pretty well on this on these ceramic rushes. And then the Neva miss targeting also. So the combination of these three plus a couple more Geraldo items is going to be our entire mid game carry. Up until we can upgrade to our late game tower, which is going to be the Sky Shredder. So, well, that's cool. We'll see the Sky Shredder. Sky Shredder is basically the same thing. So Operation Dartstorm, you can see that it shoots missiles and it also shoots a lot of darts, like a lot of darts. And the Sky Shredder shoots even more darts, and it shoots them faster. It's you're gonna see a lot of darts in this run. All right, then Geraldo gets these upgraded turrets, which are actually very good damage for their price. So you actually want to use them when you can. So we're gonna try to spam. We're gonna put. I think we put 4. I think I used 4. Even though you could use more, but I think there's just some stuff. Yeah, and rounds. So the next thing. So I think actually this is actually a good time for donations as well, because we are basically waiting until round 75. That's kind of like the next hard round. One funny thing is round 72 has a little bit of RNG, but we can just put a glue here in case we're gonna get bad RNG, which we did not. So we did not need to spend another $160 on a glue. Alright, so what we're gonna do here on round 75 is so Geraldo has this other item called the Creepy Idol. Some people call it a spooky totem for some reason. I don't know why. Basically it blows back Moabs. We're also gonna give our Monkey Ace Pickles and a Sharpening Stone. So Pickles increase the damage, but reduce the attack speed of a particular tower. So for some towers, it's like actually extremely good, and Monkey Ace is one of them. Other towers, it's like it reduces the DPS because of the lower attack speed. Anyways, so but it's good for the Monkey Ace, I think. Alright, 78 requires quite a bit, so we had to put some glues. We needed to get down 4 of these creepy idols and camo potion a few things, specifically because the second round 78 ceramic rush is a camo ceramic rush. So we need our creepy idols to be able to blow them back, and so putting a camo potion on Geraldo does that. So. And round 80, we're not really able to handle it very well, but fortunately we have Geraldo, who has items that let us handle it. Specifically the Blade Trap. We'll just chuck one on this spike pile, and it'll take out all of the insides of this before they leak. So round 81 should be. I haven't died on round 81. I think it's possible. One thing about this map is that with the Moabs, the blimps can spawn randomly between the 2 lanes, which is very very annoying. But anyway, so now we got Sky Shredder, so this is just like a ramped up version of the previous of the Operation Dartstorm. So we're gonna get another village up here, because then a lot of times in these expert maps, what you try to do is you try to get multiple tier 5s, but in this map, what's a more consistent way of doing it is to get 1 tier 5 and then a bunch of support. That was different from Quad, definitely different from Bloody Puddles when we did it, different from Ouch, but in this map we're only going to get this one as a tier 5. Otherwise we're going to just invest in some support. So we're going to get a Relentless Glue, which we've seen before. We're going to get these, obviously, these turrets, because they're just good deal, good value for the damage, or good damage for the price. We're going to get some Moab presses. Oh, and Geraldo has one thing about when Geraldo gets to level 20, you need to be mindful of this, is shop refreshes. So I want to use this camo potion right now on the glue gunner, so that we can so that it can so I can see camo, and it gets a little bit of extra range. And then there are also these Jerry's fires, which are kind of nice. So, and then we're gonna get the next support tower, which is the Shattering Shells, which I don't think we've seen. Basically, it decamos, and then when we get the Shattering Shells, it also defortifies, which is a huge deal. So, but yeah, so this is kind of the idea of just getting a lot of support. So we're gonna support with the creepy idol. These totems are really good. So the totems can also stun Moabs. And then we're gonna get the first strike like we did earlier with an Ouch. Alright, and so we got our first strike, and then one thing that's really nice also about Geraldo is round 98. What you can do is get down 2 genies, which are really good. Like, the genies are very good for their price as well. And then for round 100, we're gonna do a fun little thing, because Geraldo also has these rejuve potions, which basically what they do is they reset all your ability cooldowns. So that's so if we use that, we can actually do 3 first strikes, and it can just kill the round 100 thing very quickly. Anyway, so yeah, that's the run. Thanks everyone for watching this. Hopefully the commentary made sense. There were some mistakes, but you know, we'll keep practicing this and iron that out.